I want you to listen to this quote. It says, "It is true, we are barbarians. It is an honorable title to us. I am freeing humanity from a false vision called conscience and morality. The Jews have inflicted two wounds on mankind, circumcision on its body and conscience on its soul. The war for world domination will be fought entirely between us, the Germans and the Jews. All else is facade." Adolf Hitler. In Hitler's mind, this is what the war was about, nothing else. It had nothing to do with Poland, Europe, America, Great Britain. It was all a facade to kill all of the Jews. He said because world dominance has to come down to annihilating the Jews. Same thing Haman said, the same thing they always say. Mm-hmm. And so this is what the war of 20 to 24 was all about. It was all about world domination and bringing in the Antichrist. And the church knew nothing about this. And it was so pitiful because, I think it was Billy Graham, maybe I've got that wrong, but that said, the body of Christ, the Christian who don't walk in everything God has provided for them, is a monster in the eyes of God. That's how much power resides within the body of Christ. And they were ignorant to the reason it was all happening. It was all happening for world domination. And did you notice that's why, you notice that the UN never condemns anybody who attacks Israel?
Right.
No.
They won't even condemn Hamas. They won't condemn the killing of the Bibas family. They won't condemn anything that has to do with Israel. And some of the hostages we found out was being held in some of their buildings in an UNRWA building. Well, they understand world domination, just as Hitler did. Hitler said the rest of all this political, physical war is a facade. So they're willing to kill millions upon millions upon millions of people just to have world domination. And notice all of this that's going against Israel now is compared to Hitler and Nazis. Well, this is where we are on this side of the page. And when Obama came out in 2008 and 9 and stood on the throne of Satan on Mile High Stadium and on Invesco Field, nobody even realized that he was standing on the throne of Satan. And when you showed that it was, the church just smiled and just bumped it over. And they forget that in World War I, that all happened because when the throne of Satan was excavated and brought from Turkey and so forth and brought over into the Germanic land before Germany was even a nation, when the last pieces were there, Germany becomes a nation. And notice all of a sudden a world war starts breaking out. It's world dominance, and we begin to fight the powers that was unseen. And the church, that's why the World War II generation is the greatest generation of all. They fought on two fronts, spiritual and physical. Mm-hmm. And then after World War I, you see about the time the throne of Satan was erected, a baby was born in Austria on April the 20th. His name was Hitler, Adolf Hitler. And so he was being raised up at the same moment, and then he had his pedestal in Nuremberg designed after the throne of Satan that had been assembled and put in Berlin. And so now he's declaring, watch this, from the stage at Nuremberg, designed after the pedestal of Satan, he utters the word final solution. He knew everything else was a facade. He said it's about world domination, and it comes down between us and the Jews because they're God's chosen people. And that's why he did what he did to them. He even diverted trains that would have carried troops to the Eastern Front. He would have carried troops to the Eastern Front, guys. He diverted those trains to carry more Jews from Hungary to the death, to their death. To him, it wasn't about war. It was everything was a facade. It was about a spiritual war, which tells me he was in contact with Satan himself, or he wouldn't have made that quote.
For more great content, go to flyoverconservatives.com.